The podcast you're about to listen to may contain random lines from musical theater, terrible attempts at regional accents, and a sincere discussion about mental health. You have been warned. Are you ready to start singing with your feet? Formidable! Allez, c'est parti! Non, nous ne sommes pas fous, nous ne sommes pas ivres, nous sommes juste dans la joie. Une joie profonde, nos cœurs elle inonde. Cette joie, elle vient du ciel. Non, nous ne sommes pas fous.
Welcome to Sing With Your Feet. My name is Lily Fields, and I'm going to be your fairy godmother for the next half hour or so. So here we are. We have gone through our closets. We've started dealing with the emotional baggage that's been stored in there for years and years. We have our closet inventory underway so that we know what it is that we wear in our closet, and we have a better understanding of why we wear what we wear. We have even been responsibly discarding the stuff that we don't like and that we won't ever wear. We may have even dared to get out a needle and thread and made a few alterations or repairs that will take things that we do like but that we don't wear because they needed a little work, and we've made them wearable again. Put those things back into the rotation. And most importantly, we have been setting aside a few minutes well in advance of needing to actually get dressed to get out the clothes that we will be wearing the next day. Remember, I'm a fairy godmother. I don't give fashion advice because what I like to wear and what makes me feel like $1,000,000 is not what will make you feel amazing. But based on the deep dive that we've taken into your closet over the last few weeks, you should have a better idea of what those things actually are. Keep in mind that my own closet inventory was something that took me a year to complete. Every day, making little notes about what I was wearing. During that year, I worked through my closet, knowing that one of the rules of my year of no shopping was that I had to wear everything I owned, or else I would have to give it away. I made up these rules. These rules were my fault. No one was forcing them on me. But I felt like it was important to give everything that I didn't immediately know needed to be discarded a fair shot at being worn again. You may have already found this to be true, but it happens pretty quickly once you force yourself to wear something that you've been ignoring, that you remember either why you never wear it in the first place, or you suddenly realize that this item could complete a bunch of other outfits, and that you had simply been blind and had forgotten about it. Giving everything away is an important part of doing your closet inventory. This may take you months and months. Seasons change, and you'll be needing to get out your warmer weather clothes soon. So pretty soon, you'll be forgetting about your heavy sweaters and your layering pieces. What I want you to think of right now is that I want you to stop shopping. Please, 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 please don't go out and add anything to your wardrobe quite yet, okay? Now, speaking of the seasons changing, this is something I want to mention because it's something that I recently discovered, maybe in the last couple years. Do you do a seasonal changeover? If you do, I am very sorry to get geeky about something that you already do, but this is an absolutely amazing little thing. Just like it sounds, a seasonal changeover is a moment when you decide that it's time to get out your clothes for the season ahead. This shouldn't be rocket science, but it took me 40-some-odd years to understand just how nice this is. It's something that I like to do rather in advance of the actual date of the season change, say a month before. Summer being an exception since hot weather sneaks up on us pretty quickly where I live in France. Now, let me explain my current configuration so they get a better picture of how this works. I have a dresser with 4 drawers, and I have my closet with my hanging items like dresses, skirts, nicer tops, and sweaters. One dresser drawer is skivvies and the like. One drawer is jeans and casual pants. I own a grand total of 4. And that same drawer has t-shirts. Another drawer is out-of-season stuff that usually gets hung up when it's in season. And one drawer is stuff that I love, that I don't want to get rid of, but that I rarely ever wear. At the moment of the seasonal changeover, I take the out-of-season items out of my drawer. I wrinkle check them. I sniff check them, you know what I mean. Some clothes, they get that musty smell if they've been stored for a while. If they're wearable, I put them aside. If they need a wash, I put them in the hamper. Then I start rummaging through the items that are hanging in my closet. Because I have dramatically decreased the amount of clothes in my closet, I have a very good idea of what I haven't worn in a while due to rising temperatures. If it hasn't been worn, or if I don't see myself wearing it again anytime soon, I give those things a sniff check, and if I need to, I put them in the hamper too. My goal is to do an even swap out. However many things I took out is how many things I'm going to put back in. This sounds so easy, but it took me a bit of time to get the hang of it. Because I'm at a stage now where I no longer have a big bin of unused items, the switch out is really rather painless. But I do have that drawer of things that I don't wear very often. This switchover day is a good time to go through those to see if there's anything in there that I can make a decision about. You know, one day it just happens. One day I'm just ready to get that thing out of there. I like to put things away clean because you never know when there's going to be a chilly April morning and I need that warm sweater, or a hot April day when I need a sundress. Things being clean just makes this easier. So that's the seasonal changeover, and you should really try it. There are dozens of methods to help you figure out what to wear. I have, at some point in my life, entertained just about every single one of those methods. I have read mathematical equations that tell me, based on my height, what is the most flattering skirt length. This equation neglects to take into account the fact that I have a tremendously ugly scar on my knee that I refuse to show. So that little foolproof math lesson was a bust. I have studied the capsule concept rather extensively, to the point at which the very words capsule wardrobe give me the heebie-jeebies. Do you know how many different people have come up with rules for the capsule wardrobe? Ugh. Is it 33 items or is it 10? Do these include t-shirts or not? Are shoes included? I mean, let's be real. If you're saying that I can only have 33 items, but these do not include my tank tops, my t-shirts, or my layering pieces, I'm starting to feel like this is not really going to help me make better decisions. On the other hand, if you're going to tell me that I can have 5 tops, 3 bottoms, 2 pairs of shoes, and 1 sweater, well, that's kind of strict, don't you think? So yeah, all these methods exist, and they are useful to someone. So I figure that we are going to take some time to look at the benefits of these different methods. I have adopted some elements of all of these into my own closet outlook. Who knows? You might even be inspired by them. Do you remember, oh gosh, it was years ago now, when Mark Zuckerberg was going back to work after his paternity leave, and he posted a photo of his closet in which were lined up several of the exact same gray hoodie? I think the caption was something like, "What should I wear?" Ugh, I hated that smugness, although I did take that little caption as the title of this week's episode, so bless him. But think about Steve Jobs. He was iconic in his black turtleneck. There are few people that can get away with a black turtleneck just like that. Or James Bond and his tailored tux. There is something to be said for predictability. I mean, Anna Wintour and her sunglasses. I read a whole article about how she was seen on the street without them one day and that this was unprecedented. And I cannot believe that I'm actually admitting that I read that article. Or a better example, my friend Myrtille, who developed her entire brand around her red glasses. Seriously, we're talking about iconography here, people. Although I love clothes, I also love the idea of the uniform. When I was a kid, my father used to have a pair of sweatpants and a flannel shirt that he called his uniform for when he was at home. I guess I must have some warm, fuzzy memory of that because honestly, for as much as I love clothes, I love the predictability of a uniform. A few weeks ago, when we started doing our closet inventories together, I prattled on about the foundational elements that I wear in winter. I know for a fact that once it gets cold, under my clothes, I will probably be found wearing a long-sleeve black cashmere blend t-shirt with lace at the V and at the wrists, and black wool tights. The rest comes and goes. It might be a black dress, or it might be a red dress. It might be a denim skirt and a hand-knit sweater, or a hand-knit skirt and a denim shirt. It doesn't matter. But in the winter, I know what I will be wearing 9 times out of 10. It makes everything else easier. You know, they do make my t-shirt in other colors, beautiful colors, pretty colors. But I have decided that for simplicity's sake, I only want black. I own 2 black ones. Same with my tights. Sure, there are lovely color tights out there, but for simplicity's sake, and so that I don't have to think about coordinating my tights to my outfit, I just own black. Incidentally, I own 2 pairs of those wool tights as well. I also have my leather jacket, which is my pride and joy, and until the weather starts heading below freezing, I will be wearing that jacket every single day. It has become part of my persona. Someone told me the other day when I was wearing a really pretty green silk party dress with my leather jacket that I looked like a rock and roll Tinkerbell, and I was like, well, my work here is done. In the summertime, I'm usually going to be found wearing dresses which cover up my ugly knee scar, thank you very much. I have a lightweight full slip in white and one in black jersey that I choose to wear under my dresses. And remember I told you about my zebra high-top Converse sneakers? I'm telling you, once you know what you like and you know where to find them, and when they wear out, you can get another pair and everything about your life is simplified. Is this a uniform? Well, yes, kind of. I know what I like to wear. I own multiples of some of them, and I wear them religiously. The stuff that can be seen on the outside does not belie the fact that I'm wearing my quote-unquote uniform underneath. This just is what it is. So think about your closet inventory. Are there base elements that you wear regularly? Could you start considering that to be your uniform? What would happen if you started thinking in terms of a uniform for how you dress? Would it make your decisions easier? Once we find a couple of things that we really like, whether they are those perfect dark jeans or that one leather jacket or your zebra high-top Converse or that tank top that just works with everything, these are the things that have the potential to make us feel like $1,000,000. The decision-making process is simplified. You feel great, and you don't have to own 150 different things to make an outfit. Uniforms are great. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. If you have an additional 15 minutes to spend on this topic, I would recommend Googling Jennifer L. Scott's TED Talk about the 10-item wardrobe. As a matter of fact, I will drop the link into the show notes because it really is worth a gander. Her story is that she went to France as an exchange student, and in the armoire at the host family's house, there were only just a few hangers. She had brought a huge suitcase full of clothes, and she was intrigued by the host mother and how she always looked so elegant but only wore a very few nice pieces day in and day out. It's not the number of items that matters in her talk, it's the principle of the thing. I can't be 100% sure, but I think that it was from her that I was inspired to start wearing my pretty clothes. The ones that I was always shoving aside because I was too afraid to wear them in case I might ruin them. What I love about Jennifer L. Scott's concept is that she reminds us that how we take care of our clothes matters. That we can wear nice clothes if we are willing to take care of them like they were precious. Thus, why I always wear an apron when I'm crafting or when I'm cooking. Yes, giving ourselves permission to wear our nice clothes, or as I like to say, life is short, wear the pretty clothes, we are inviting more joy into our lives. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this story. After I watched Jennifer's TED Talk, I was so inspired that I decided to start wearing my pretty dresses all the time. Given the activities that I was doing on the reg at the time, which mostly included going to the park with my kids, taking walks through the pedestrian areas of my town with my kids on their bikes, and playing on the floor with my kids, I didn't ever expect to be doing anything particularly exertion-like. Some people invited us over for coffee and cake with our kids. I usually dread this kind of thing, but they insisted and they kept on insisting, and so we went. It was hot out. I was wearing a lacy yellow dress and a really nice pair of sandals that my mother-in-law had given me as hand-me-downs. I know that they had originally cost in the 300 to 400 euro range, so these were, going for coffee and cake kind of shoes. The people, though, they pulled a bait and switch on us. Once we arrived, they said, "Oh, it's hot out, let's go for a walk." But it was not a walk. It was a hike in the Vosges Mountains. Me in a yellow lace dress and dress-up sandals. Now, I'm not an outdoorsy kind of girl, and this was just perfect evidence of how much these people knew nothing about me. Anywho, after that mishap, I came to realize that absolutely nothing in my closet is sacred. And darn it, if I could wear expensive hand-me-down sandals to hike in the Vosges, then I could definitely wear a fluffy petticoat to the park. Where I take issue with the idea of the 10-item wardrobe is that, well, let me be honest with you, I have way more than 10 items in my wardrobe. And I mean, beyond my uniform items that we talked about earlier, I'm not going to take a glance at my closet inventory and give you the exact number, but we're definitely looking at more than 80 items. While I love a good closet declutter and have been very careful about what I have started bringing into my closet now for more than 6 years, I will never be able to whittle my closet down to 10 items. I just can't. And that is why I had to invent my own wardrobe method, because there ain't no way I am going to even try to get my wardrobe down to 10. But then there are, cue the heebie-jeebies, the capsule wardrobes. So the capsule wardrobes are everywhere. They are on Pinterest, they're on Instagram, they're everywhere. So a capsule wardrobe is when you have a specific set of outfits or a certain number of items that you cycle through for a set period of time. Some are 33 items for 3 months. Some are 20 items for 1 month. There are some 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 methods, like I talked about earlier, the 5 tops, 4 bottoms, 3 sweaters, 2 shoes, 1 coat, for example. Whatever the set number of items, very often these methods depend on you shopping for 1 or 2 new things and then building your capsule. Sorry, that word just makes me feel gross. Anyway, building your capsule around them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about them because there are just so many parameters and it's easy to get lost. Let me tell you, though, what I just find really, really gross about this whole thing. Besides the word capsule, it went from being a great way to simplify your closet and your wardrobe choices to becoming a marketing scheme. Now, without doing the heavy lifting you need to do in your closet, separating the wheat from the chaff, if you will, you can just buy more clothes and you'll be perfect. But in the end, you just end up with more clothes, more choices, and while I adore the thought experiment of starting over with 0 clothes in my closet and having a fairy godmother wave her magic wand and give me a tiny little selection of clothes that will look amazing on me, I cannot, in good conscience, imagine giving up most of the things that have survived my closet culling. So while capsules feature new items, those are an interesting idea. I don't see them as a way to actually fall in love with our own closets. And believe me, our closets are full of joy just waiting to be unlocked.
Elle me fait bondir et vibrer, crier. Elle me donne envie de chanter, danser. Elle pousse à agir, donner, partager, et tout simplement de sourire, aimer.
So after having extensively read about all these different methods, I ended up devising my own strategy for dealing with my closet. I was inspired by 2 things. One, a trip to Iowa my mother took us on when my sister and I were very little, for which my mother only packed the clothes that I did not like and that I would not wear when we were at home. And yes, even as a toddler, I was very picky. And the second thing that inspired me was a trip to Chicago that my family, that is my husband and my kids, and I took in 2019. You see, Chicago was the last leg of our 3-week-long Midwestern odyssey. We were traveling with 2 little boys who were at the time, I think they were 2 and 3. We had 2 suitcases and I had my backpack. For those last days of our trip, which we spent in Chicago, I had packed just 2 dresses in my little backpack. Knowing that I had only 2 options and that I wouldn't have to go digging around in the suitcase for my clothes, it made those few days at a hotel with toddlers considerably easier than they could have otherwise been. I never had to open the suitcase to look for my clothes. I had everything in my backpack, and it was amazing. When we got home and I had all of my wardrobe choices again, I got to thinking of how nice it would be to have maybe only 5 dresses to choose from instead of 7 skirts, 8 dresses, and who knows how many pairs of jeans. So what I did was I allowed myself to keep out in my closet only as many things would fit in a small suitcase. Thus, why I call this the suitcase method. The rest I whisked away into a bin so that it was out of sight, and I was so happy. Every few weeks, I would cycle out the dresses so I could get wear out of everything, even the clothes I didn't totally love. And I'll be darned, just like what happened on the trip to Iowa as a toddler fashionista, I actually came to like certain things that I hadn't previously liked to wear at all. Because, as we have said many times, familiarity breeds affection. So this is kind of like a capsule concept, only it is exclusively using things that I already have in my possession and getting good use out of them. There is a benefit to giving all these different methods a try. The benefit is that you start to discover what makes you feel great. Whether you are going with the 10-item wardrobe and finally getting around to wearing those pretty clothes, or you are developing a thematically limited wardrobe, like, I don't know, a sailor theme, or a goth theme, or my favorite, the rock and roll Tinkerbell vibe, or just intentionally getting some wear out of the clothes that you had put aside for some reason or another. When you have decided that you want to, 1, get your closet spending under control, 2, simplify your life, and 3, figure out what your own personal style really is, you need to go through a period of really digging into what you already own. I've said this a bunch of times, but articulating what we like about our clothes and also, revealingly, what we don't like about them is going to help us make better choices when it comes to actually buying something new. Little by little, as you see the number of wears creeping up on your closet inventory for a specific item, you will see that maybe this piece is something that really represents you. Asking yourself, what does this say about me? Becomes a legitimate question. For example, why am I so completely obsessed with this black long-sleeve t-shirt with lace on it? Well, because I really like lace. And we've talked about this before, but I like lace because it's transparent. And I want to be the kind of person whose motives are transparent and who is also legit kind of fancy. I like the V-neck because it's deep without being indecent. I want to be someone who can dress pretty while still having a modicum of modesty. Plus, it is super duper soft and I love the way it feels. This is important because it means that I prioritize the sensations that my body feels. Or what about that leather jacket? Come on. My whole ethos is very princess chic, so why is wearing a black leather jacket something I have fantasized about for my entire life? Because it's kind of unexpected for someone whose whole thing is being sweet and happy and being a people pleaser. If someone meets me for the first time and I'm wearing that jacket, they are going to maybe get the impression that I'm tough as nails, which, given the amount of deep work that I have done on myself over the years, is true. I wear that jacket because it represents the transformation my heart and my mind have been through. Don't mess with me, my jacket says. All the while, my bright orange petticoat says, but I'm super fun too. Or what about those zebra high tops? Remember, I told you that the zebra motif is one that has come to represent creativity for me over the years. I have promised you forever that I will explain that, and I will, I promise. But just let's go with this for right now. Those zebra high tops, the minute I lace them up, are a commitment to myself that I was born to be a creative person, and I will be darned if this life is going to turn me into someone who is boring just to fit in. Plus, I could go just about anywhere in those shoes and do just about anything in them. They are versatile and wonderful, 2 words that I would like to have associated with me one day. So, you see, as you come to fall in love with your closet, you are also starting to fall in love with yourself. Your wardrobe is a reflection of who you are. When you articulate what you love about the things in your closet, you might also be starting to articulate what you love about yourself. Believe it or not, Cinderella, you are more wonderful and more amazing than any leather jacket or zebra high-top sneakers. Those things are just tiny facets of how fabulous you are. I have been saying this on and off since we started this series about our wardrobes, but I would really want you to make a commitment to yourself to stop shopping. In December of 2020, when the fog of my depression had finally lifted, I heard very clearly a voice say to me, "You need to stop throwing money at your self-esteem problems." Yes, this was something that God or the universe or my own fairy godmother whispered to me, but I think that the message is pretty universal. We all shop for our own reasons, and most of them have nothing to do with an actual physical need. We do it because it passes the time or because we need a pick-me-up. We do it to feel something. We do it for the adrenaline rush of joy. If we are bored, shopping shouldn't be the answer. If we're down, shopping should not be the answer. If we're feeling numb, shopping must not be the answer. By continuing to shop on impulse, we are robbing ourselves of the opportunity to face the deeper issues. It is hard to stop shopping because we are taking away a coping mechanism. To stop shopping is to drive ourselves to distraction. But once you've made that commitment and have started dealing with your closet and what it says about you, and getting out the stuff that makes you feel like crap about yourself and wearing the things that make you feel like $1,000,000 and that say things about you that you would want to have said, well then you are on your track to living your ideal life. I believe in you, Cinderella, and I know you can do this, and I am here for you at every step. So here's the part of the podcast in which I tell you about my continuing efforts to live out the golden rule this year. I know that these last few weeks I have been coming at this in all kinds of weird ways, like discovering that maybe were I to truly do for others what I would want done for me, well, sometimes it means that I wouldn't do anything at all. Or that perhaps I wouldn't want people to be extravagant around me, so I should stop being over the top when I say thank you to someone. My whole people-pleasing persona is really taking a beating in this challenge to live out the golden rule. Because when it comes down to it, people pleasers who are not me, they irritate the heck out of me. I cannot stand it when people fawn or acquiesce all the time. I want people to tell me what they really think. If I ask someone what they want to drink, I want them to tell me what they want to drink. I don't want them to say, "I'll have whatever's open." I really want to know what they want. So naturally, what does that mean that I need to start doing? Well, if I want to do for others what I would want done for me, it means that I need to start having a preference. I need to start actually saying what I think. I need to have an opinion and not be afraid that it is wrong or misguided. My people-pleasing Cinderellas are out there hearing this and cringing in their glass slippers because we know how uncomfortable this is. But here I go. I'm going to try, in the little things, to actually have a preference and not always make an attempt to be accommodating, because that's what I would want done for me. All right, Cinderella, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You are amazing, you're beautiful, and I am so glad to be on this journey with you. Keep up your closet inventory, Try out some of those wardrobe methods and let me know how they're going for you. You can reach me on Instagram at singwithyourfeet or by email lily@singwithyourfeet.com. That's Lily, Lily. Be great this week, Cinderella. I believe in you. I want to give a great big thank you to 7 Productions here in Mulhouse, France for the use of the song La Joie as the intro and outro to the show, to Matt Kugler, who you can find on social media as Matt-K, who sang it, and to Claude Ekwe, who wrote it. This is your fairy godmother signing off. Just remember, it is never too late to start singing with your feet.